Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final day of the Superbet Chess Classic 2022 in Romania. And in this game, we will feature Wesley So's missed opportunity against MVL in the playoff. Wesley could have won the Superbet Chess Classic if not for that missed tactic, the missed skewer in this game. Let's check it out. Lagrave was white. He started with c4. We are into the English territory. Knight into f6, knight c3, e5, reverse Sicilian. Yeah, c4 and e5 is a reverse Sicilian. Knight f3, knight c6. We also have the four knights variation. g3, d5 takes, bishop g2, and now we have the reverse hyper accelerated dragon being played by white. That's set up with the bishop and g2, the knight at c3, knight f3, and g3 is the dragon setup. Yeah. And without d3, or call it the hyper accelerated dragon. Bishop c5 was played by West here. White went for castling. It was also possible for white to capture on e5. Then black will go for knight takes c3, takes on c6, takes on c6. You can go d takes c3, or you can also capture with the pawn here. Black can go queen to d5, knight f3, and then bishop h3. Okay, white has an extra pawn, but compensation for black is that he has the two bishops and some light square weakness also for white, right? Okay, so white castled, black also castled, d3, h6, not allowing this idea of knight g5 and knight e4, yeah. Bishop d2, knight f6, so now with h6, no pin. Rook into c1, rook e8, a3, a5, preventing b4. Knight into a4, bishop d6, knight c5 takes. Takes on c5, e4, takes. All right, white has the majority, pawn majority on the king side with 4 against 3. But black also has his own majority on the queen side with 3 versus 2. Okay, white went for rook c2, bishop f5, queen c1, knight d6, threatening that rook on c2. I discovered attack. At the same time, rook is also attacking e2. So Wesley gets an extra pawn. Bishop into e3, bishop e4. If you look at closely how Wesley plays in the faster time control, it's totally different from the classical part. Yeah, in the faster time control, he's playing freely and he's playing dynamic chess, fighting chess, compared to classical chess, where he's playing solidly, passively sometimes, and go for this unnecessary draws. It's just sometimes frustrating for us watching his games because his talent is undeniable. I, for one, believe that Wesley is actually a potential challenger for the World Championship, but he's not using his talent so well, especially the his fighting chess. Yeah, that character, the winning mentality, he has to show it. If you want to beat Magnus, you gotta show it every game. Yeah, on a consistent basis. And okay, there are some draws that are tolerable, but some are not. Yeah, too much of these draws will ruin your performance, and also it's not so good to see, especially with the young kids out there. When you're drawing many games, and they would ask me, why was it a draw when he could have done something somewhere? Why was it a draw when he was better? And it's hard to deal with these questions because at some point, okay, these players are also conserving their energy. You actually never know what's inside them. You just cannot judge people. Yeah, it's hard to judge people. It's their life on the line. It's their own path. It's their own journey. Okay, let's just continue. Rook into d1, queen into f6. Okay, main threat would be b2, and rook on e2 is also attacking b2 pawn. Knight e4 takes on g2, king takes on g2. Of course, if white takes that rook on e2, black can just go for bishop f3. That g2 square is a problem for white, with some ideas of g5, queen e6, and queen h3 coming up. G5 is to stop knight f4, yeah. So king takes g2 was more or less forced. Knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, queen g6. Another strong possibility here was queen e6, yeah. And then I would just go for rook e8 here. Now the main point is that if rook takes e7, rook e8, this is just too strong, yeah. Let's say, for example, the king moves back to g1, then I would go knight b5. You're threatening this bishop, threatening rook e1. Okay, so queen g6, rook to c7, knight f5, a bit rush. With rook a e8 finishing your development, you double up the rooks on an open file, which is just a very basic strategy. Yeah, you double your rooks on an open file before playing knight f5 or knight to b5. White should be better or winning in this position. Yeah. Knight f5 was too rushed because it allows white to go for rook c8, exchanging the rook, where rook a8, you can keep it and you can use it to put pressure on your opponent. Yeah? Double the trouble with two rooks in the file. That is hard to contain. Yeah? The knight is protecting b7, c8, no issues for black. Strong knight on d6. Okay, king g1, you can go king h7 here first, to move out of checks, preventing the exchange before you go knight f5 or knight b5. Yeah. All right, because once you get that bishop, the pressure on b2 and f2 is looming with queen f6. Yes, queen d4, queen f2. But he went for knight f5, so rook into c8 takes, king h7, queen takes b7, queen g4, h3, queen g6. Wesley could have captured the pawn also on g3 here. King f1, and maybe he missed this one, rook e7. The retreat on e7, you're taking the queen on b7. The queen cannot take the rook because of the intermediate check. And white is losing his queen on e7. And if you take that pawn on g3, let's say queen on g3, you take b7. Threat would be b2, threat would be g3, and also knight e4. So white cannot protect both pawns. If he cannot go bishop e5 because the threat is also knight e3, double attack on the king and the rook. Okay, it's just also fun. On one hand, it's fun to watch players when they're playing the faster time controls, because it shows their vulnerabilities, yes, their mistakes, which is human nature. Unlike the classical part where they go for dull draws, and I don't like that chess. I always like fighting chess, because for me, chess is it's a war game. Yeah, you gotta fight. And that's why we have what we call weapons. Yeah. Okay, you can be friends outside of the board, but on the board, fight. King f1, rook e4. Okay, king d5 was played. It's not possible for white to take the rook on e4 because of knight takes g3. Just go over attacking the king. Queen is dead on e4. Queen d5, rook e6. Bishop c5. h4. Wesley missed another move. Another tactic with queen e2. King G2, Rook E5, black wins a piece because the queen on D5 is an overworked piece. It's protecting D1 and C5 at the same time. The rook attacks C5, the queen attacks D1. The queen cannot defend both pieces at the same time. And with black threatening C5 and D1, white is losing a piece and eventually the game. But then again, we all make mistakes. Everyone does. So in chess also, this is a very cruel sport. The one who makes the last mistake, of course, loses. So everything is still possible here in this position. B4 takes. It's not anymore playable to go queen e2 here because the opponent is already protecting the bishop on c5. Rook f6 threatening knight g3, king e1. It's an open line for the king, but it's also the safe square for the king. Rook e6 check, queen d2, rook e1, rook a6. Wesley cannot exchange the rook. White has a pass pawn. The more you exchange, higher chances of white to win. Rook into e5, knight e6, h5, queen f6, f4, knight f5. Okay, tricky move for Wesley. The point being, if rook takes f5, we have queen b2, rook e3, queen e2, and then it's going to be checkmate on d3. So it's not possible for white to take that knight, so he played g4. Knight into h4, queen e4 check, and g6. b5, rook a5, b6, queen to d8. King c3, queen d1. Queen c2, queen a1. King b4, knight f3 was actually a blunder for Wesley, and Legrev also missed it. Again, with pressure, the time running low, these players tend to make more mistakes, than normal. But then again, awareness is still very important. Whether you play bullet, you play blitz, or rapid, you have to keep in mind all these intermediate moves or intermediate checks. Here, HTG is winning on the spot. Okay, I believe and I understand that white might have missed this move, bishop f8, for him to win. Because king takes f8 runs into rook takes a5. Of course, black cannot take that g6 pawn because it only opens up the 7th rank. And it's going to be made on c8, the back rank mate. But queen b3 was played by the Grave. He wants to hit f7. Knight e5 takes an e5, but it's waiting for Wesley now. Queen e1, king c4. And the missed tactic by Wesley. He played queen e2. Again, in chess, the one who makes the last mistake, unfortunately, loses. Especially in the most critical part of the game, especially the end game. Queen c1 was winning. Okay, white is forced to play king d3 here. He has this threat on f7. But black can go queen f1, protect f7. You are still attacking the king, right? And the rook is also attacking the bishop. And if the king protects the bishop, queen f2, king e4, you take the bishop. You are protecting the important f7 square. If pushes, this queen e2, queen takes e5, right? And then queen g3. You take the queen, you win the game. Wesley went for queen e2, Lagrave survived, and not only survived, but eventually winning the game. Queen takes g5, king d6, and the biggest blunder of the game, queen c8. I think Wesley here had less than 5 seconds, so he missed out on f7. He actually resigned after playing the move queen c8. Because if king h8, just queen f6 and queen takes g6. All right, that was Wesley's story in Romania. He had his chances, most especially the classical part, where in the last game he was actually better against Linear Dominguez. And I was shocked also because in the final position, he was controlling the game with that rook on the second rank, active knights and bishop. But he went to play the repetition with knight e2 and knight e4. It was very surprising for me also. Okay, understandably, he just wants to conserve his energy and go for the playoffs. But in life, as they say, opportunities knock only once. You have to grab it. Once it's there, grab it. Take it. And also in chess, just like Magnus Carlsen, in elite competition, in the elite level, the model is always Magnus. Yeah, if you want to beat Magnus, you really have to develop this winning mentality, and part of that mentality is to maximize every position on the board. Yes, you max it out. Go for the optimum. I mean, if there are bare kings on the board, okay, that's a draw. Yeah, but if there are still pieces, try to be resourceful. Try to take your chances. Yeah. Okay, he misses chances. He misses a tactic here and there, one after the other. Sometimes it's like that. That these problems they keep piling up. Yeah. When you don't develop this habit of winning, you play passively all the time, and sometimes it bounces back. Yeah, it becomes your character, which is not good, by the way. You know, when you're a competitor should fight, especially in this game. You should never back down, yeah, and you never turn your back. You just go forward like a bull, yeah. Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah. Again, it's hard to judge people. It's especially as elite. They have been there. They know what they're doing. There are days where they play a good fight, they play good chess, but there are also bad days. It's just part of life. But at the end of the day, once you have your chances, you better take it. Whether you are an elite or you're just a starter. That's how you should face life. Yeah. Fight. So that was it. Congratulations to Bashir Lagrave for winning the Superbet Chess Classic. He was coming from behind, but he took his chances, and he was rewarded in the end. So guys, thank you for supporting our channel, Charts Max Chess and Charts Max Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver once again. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.